Welcome to Uncloaked Illusions. I'm Chris Anthony, here to share a little information about the U.S. possibly sanctioning Turkey following purchases of Russian S-400 systems. Turkey's upcoming purchase of S-400 air defense missile systems from Russia could trigger U.S. secondary sanctions against Ankara. A new report on Washington's relations with Ankara from the Turkish Heritage Organization said there are concerns that the deal could trigger U.S. sanctions in 2018 under the Countering America's Adversary Through Sanctions Act, CAATSA, which was signed into law in August 2017, the report said on Monday. In December, Russia and Turkey signed a loan agreement to supply Russia's S-400 air defense missile systems to Turkey. Plans by Moscow and Ankara to push ahead with the proposed Turkish Stream pipeline will increase Turkey's dependence on Russia for its energy and will also run the risk of providing or provoking, U.S. retaliatory sanctions, the report added. In 2017, over 50% of Turkey's natural gas imports came from Russia, despite Turkey's desire to wean itself off Russian energy. Progress on the Turk Stream national pipeline will do the opposite in 2018 and could even trigger U.S. sanctions, the report said. Continued U.S. support for the Kurdish People's Protection Units operating east of the Euphrates River in Syria with U.S. support indicates that Washington and Ankara will experience continued tensions on the issue this year, the report added. Okay, let's go back. Turkey's upcoming purchase. Okay, addressing this. First of all, if you've seen any of my previous videos, then you understand that the sanctionings have absolutely no leverage anymore. And this is due to the fact of the petro yuan coming onto the stage. And, also more countries are moving towards the One Belt, One Road system that China has implemented. Look into that, the One Belt, One Road system. And also, these sanctions have been used primarily to get states and countries to only act in the United States' best interest and never in their own interest. And in order to avoid a coup in these countries, they would go along with it. But, again, the United States is losing its leverage in this area. So you're going to see the United States throwing sanctions on many countries, and it's not going to make a damn difference because it's not going to be able to affect these economies in these countries quite the way that it did maybe 10 years ago. And, quite frankly, roughly about 3 years ago. Also with the deal, the sanctions, Countering America's Adversaries Through Sanctions Act. This was signed again to counter what the Chinese is trying to do and trying to bring to other countries, which is, infrastructure, technology, predominant and progressive economies. And of course, the United States only brings war, it only brings famine, it only brings pillaging to other countries. And it utilizes its resources and puts it on the dollar. It extracts a great deal of oil from these oil-rich countries to also keep the petrodollar propped up. The Russian and Turkey signed deal and agreement. Mind you, this is also an issue that Turkey is pivoting towards Russia, Iran, and China. Yes, there are issues with the Kurds in the United States backing the Kurds, and the Turks are very upset about this. But ultimately, they have been pivoting toward Russia ever since the failed coup attempt that I believe took place in 2016 or 2015. And you see that Turkey has also rejected the EU's approval of the citizens of Turkey being able to use the visas. Turkey was just like, to hell with it. We don't need it. After the coup that the United States has attempted, we don't need it. And also, Turkey has been kind of hinting that it's going to remove itself from NATO. And mind you, NATO is primarily the United States. It's like 75% of the United States. And Turkey has the largest army in NATO in the EU for the most part. And this will literally disintegrate the NATO presence if Turkey removes itself from NATO. And, just to be frank, the F-35 is a piece of shit. And the S-400 Russian missile defense system is much more equipped, and it's like, what, 2 or 3 generations ahead of us and our technology militarily. So this is a very interesting article because, again, it just also proves and highlights the fact that Turkey is becoming more dependent on Russia. And you're going to see even more pivoting away from the United States. And you're going to see it coming from unexpected countries that are just removing itself from this insolvent system, this war-based system. Give me your feedback on this, because I did promise that I would become more geopolitically driven, because that's my field. And let me know how you feel about this move and how the United States is threatening Turkey with sanctions, because it's starting to buy the Russians equipment over the United States military equipment. Give me your feedback on this. How do you feel about this? This is something that definitely needs to be open for dialogue. Like, subscribe. Let's continue to get the subscriptions up. Share the video. Let's get the news out there, the information out there, and wake people up to what is actually going on and what is transpiring right before our eyes. And this is for the people that are pretty much searching for the truth and not completely over entertained and uninterested in what will shape their world in the near future. I am Chris Anthony, and I am out.